I want to do a living conditions on that dude David the singer and where he's at because they have to have him in 1750 or they have him in 31, 33, or they have him in 35, 37. There's no other place for him to go. And that's where they keep all the high profile cases at. That's where O.J. Simpson was at. That's where I was at. That's right. I was I just left from this last time I was in the county jail. I was in 31, 33. My neighbor was Blanco from B&E. Danny Boy from Eastside Winmas was there. I mean Danny Boy from Westside Winmas, not the one I was talking about in that other story. This one's from the West Side. Ray from I don't know Valley Skinheads was there. He's coming from Pelican Bay. He was my other neighbor. These were my sidebars. Okay, well, high power is there's no there's you cannot you can stick your hand. Okay, look, nobody's going to be able to get to him because the homies aren't going to take off on David because he's not our people. The blacks are not going to do that because that's not what they do. They don't. That's not what they do. Um, the whites aren't going to do it because that's not their people. The only ones that are going to take off on David is going to be the PCs because they don't care about none of that. But you're never going to catch him alone. When you're in whenever you're in high power or you're K10 at all, everywhere you go is escorted. When you step out your cell, you have to be handcuffed. That cell door does not open unless there's a deputy in front of it. It doesn't. There's always a deputy with you. Now, when he's walking off the tier, they could harpoon. I mean, they can stick him with a spear because they make spears really good. But it's going to be a chop or stab because he's going to be walking. You have to get him stuck in front. You got to get him paused in front of your door, like if there's an incident or something's going on, or the deputy's talking to another inmate and he happens to stop the walk to taking him home. Then you can blast him. But other than that, it's going to be hard because they walk back and forth, right? I don't think David's going to be bird bathing, so he's going to be shower. He's going to be waiting for his shower. So they can either get him on the way to the shower, but again, it's going to be hard. But what they might do to him is gas him out. And if you're in between two, like gassing him out, because you can stick your arm in other people's cells, because it's all bars. All of it's bars in the county jail. It's just bars. It's an old jail. So they'll shit bomb you. They try to keep the PCs on the bottom tier because the PCs are known to flood the top tiers. They'll flood it with shit and piss. They do that. They'll do it for any little thing. So every institution I've been to, every prison I've been to, the PCs are always on the bottom tier. It's just been like that where I've been. So even in the county jail, they really try to do it because they're known to shit, bomb, and piss. They'll shit, bomb, and piss to everybody. So that's one thing they can do to David. But as far as them stabbing him, the only ones that are going to take off on him, and the only ones that is going to be the PCs, because the homies aren't going to do it. It has nothing to do with us. That's just how it is. The whites aren't going to do it, but it's going to be somebody that just wants to be famous. So it's most likely going to be a PC that'll do it. But as far as him being alone getting blasted, that's not how that's going to go. Not in K10, not in junior high power. None of them. They're not going to do it. Even if they keep him in the towers high power, you're not going to get to him. He's not going to be never left alone. He's not going to walk nowhere without no cuffs. And what they do with the big homies is they walk with them. They'll walk with two escorts and they'll walk with a sergeant with a camera. That's how they do the big homies. Whenever the big homies come from the joint, they'll have a camera on them. There'll be two deputies and a sergeant walking with a camera. They have to. They don't have to, but that's just their protocol. David's going to get the same treatment, but he's not going to get he's not going to get no special treatment. They might bring him some extra food and all that, but he's going to go to canteen the same day everybody else is going to canteen. He has a phone in his cell. It's a one-man cell. If he's on the top tier, there's a mesh where you can't throw nobody over the tier. There's a mesh thing. There's 4 TVs on the tier. This is how all high power is. Junior high power and high power. There's 4 TVs on the tier. You can literally almost touch the TVs. They're so close. So that's what they make those spears for, to change the channels. Because sometimes we don't have the remote. So you make these spears, and homies make them. Everybody makes them really good. They'll make them so good. They'll put burners at the end, really good, and they will blast the shit out of you. One time I got to the county, this wasn't in high power. This was in 33, 34, and the homies had a spear, and they had a big ass piece of metal at the end. They had a vice at the end in his cell, and they were blasting him with it. And that fool it was going right through the mattresses. They get real creative, but I wanted to let people know how his living condition is going to be. He's going to go to the store once a week. You can go 220. He's not going to be able to get no razor. He's going to have to use Magic Shave. There's not going to be no hot water. There's no hot water in them cells. It might get warm, but there's no hot water. Vending. They're going to run a vending machine. He can go to yard. He's going to go to yard. There's a phone on the yard, but it's caged yards. You go to caged yards, there's a phone in everybody's cell, in everybody's cage. He can go outside. If he's going to do that, they still can't get to you. You still can't get hit. Because you don't, nobody has cellies. Not in high power, you don't. And everywhere you go, like I said, is it's escorted. Everywhere. The only privileges that he'll be able to get is he has a lawyer that'll come see him a lot. He'll be able to come out as much as he wants. That's the only action he's going to get. He's not going to get no special treatment. He's not going to get none of that shit. He's going to be treated like everybody else. He's going to hear the homies sounding off. He's going to hear the buenos dias. He's going to hear the buenas noches. He's going to hear the camaradas to the bars. He's going to hear all that. His neighbor might even be one of them guys. You never know. That's where they keep him at. Since 08, I've been black box. Since 06, no, since 07, no, yeah, since 07, I've been black box. Every time I go to the county, I get boxed. I go to high power or I go to the gang module. I don't know if they have the gang module no more. But high power, that'll never change. That's how it's an old ass joint. It's an old ass program. But it's just like a shoe program. It's like an ASIC program. There's no trustees. There's no homie trustees. There's no black trustees. There's no nothing. There's only BISA trustees in there. They only use BISA trustees, and the BISA trustees have to be with a cop. They cannot go on that tier. If they're on the tier, there's a cop waiting for them. They don't get to run. You don't get to run around in high power. There's none of that shit. They used to let us out. Like they would let homies out to clean up things and shit, but homies, like they used to let two homies out at the same time, but homies started stabbing each other. So they don't do that at all. I know that for a fact. So I keep seeing that all kinds of people are trying to get them. Nobody's going to try to get them but the PCs. There's the homies. No homies are going to try to blast them. They'll probably have them on disregard, but it doesn't matter. Like they'll probably have them on disregard because that shit means a lot back there. You know, like they'll mind fuck you. But that's all we can really do. We can't take off on that fool. There's no reason to. That's not our people. And that's just the way it is. And the whites are not going to do it because that's not their people. So the blacks don't check paperwork, and the blacks they don't really trip off that kind of shit. They don't really trip. I'm not trying to put them down, but I've never seen blacks trip on paperwork unless it's about one of their homies and it has to do with snitching. But other than that, I've never seen them like get up on nobody that had an underage. I've never seen that. I know a gang of black fools that were in there with weird ass paperwork like that, and they were just they don't check paperwork. That's what they don't do. I know I'm probably gonna get to, but they don't do that. I've never seen that shit. I've been on level 4s my whole life. They'll check each other's paperwork as far as their homies' paperwork in their hood, that kind of shit. They'll take care of it. But as far as them they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. And the only way you can get to them is if you shit bomb them or you know, the PCs will do it. They'll hit the cop too. They don't care. But as far as beating him up, ain't nobody gonna beat him up. You can't get to him. There's none of that. There's none of that shit. He's like being in the hole. But everything's in his cell. He got a phone in his cell. Some places the phone's on the tier. You know, sometimes the phones don't work, or they'll have the one phone on the tier and they'll move it. They'll move the phone to you. Depends on what's going on. Yep. Because I know on 3500, the phones are in the bathroom. But that's fish roll. They keep you there when they don't know what they're gonna like. That fish roll is like for people that don't know if they're gonna PC up or they're gonna go back to the main line, or OSJ doesn't know what they're gonna do with you, so they'll keep you on fish roll. They'll keep you there for like a couple months. You get canteen there, it's just a mixture of everything. PCs, homies, there's everything going on in there. You don't know who's who. It's like being on YouTube. Like, you know how like Bam Bam plays with everybody, or like he doesn't care, and like Campalero, they play with everybody, they don't care. That's how that is back there. So you got to really reframe and understand like who you're talking to. You're trying to fish. These fools will try to get it. You know, shit like that going on back there. But they're not going to keep him there. He won't be there. He's going to go straight to 1750 or 31, 33, or 35, 37. But as far as anybody beating up, they're not going to be able to get to him like that. That's out. You guys be cool, be safe. I thought I'd put that out there. It's living conditions. I hope they do get to his bitch ass though.